Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the schmoes know, this is Meet the Movie Press, roundtable movie news and commentary from the industry's premier film journalists.
Happy Friday, everyone, and man, I love that music. It's like a spy house in here or something like that, like Spies, right? No.
Something like that.
Something, whatever. You know, let's get right to it. I am Mark Reilly, editor-in-chief of schmoesknow.com.
And I'm Jeff Sneider, and I'm a film reporter for TheWrap.com.
That you are, and sitting next to me, coming back, triumphant return to Meet the Movie Press, Josh Dickey. Part three. Number three.
Third time.
I know, and I don't think I've actually been on the show with you.
No, we've not.
Right,
been
he's
on
always
together.
filled in
I'm
for
always
you,
sitting
right?
in your seat. Now I'm
And-
sitting very close to your seat.
Exactly, because the fans wanted this. I'm sorry, but they wanted this.
Clamor.
They've been clamoring. I don't know. Somebody tagged us all last week, and they're like, "We got to have Josh Dickey in to talk about this." I'm like, "Sure, let's do this."
And I sure hope I don't disappoint, because this is my
I'm
favorite
sure you'll be wonderful.
Movie Press podcast.
Yeah, no, the fans do love you, and you said all two of them. They do. They do.
But we made you sit over there because contractually I get the one shot.
Jeff needs the one
I
shot.
didn't see that camera over there.
He is deemed the pretty one here in this Meet the Movie Press.
That's a rough.
And the most knowledgeable. And what the hell do I do here? I don't know. Anyways, guys,
me
we
look
have
good.
I do. I try. Guys, thank you as always for tuning in. We are on the live chat at youtube.com, Popcorn Talk Network. You can drop in your stuff there. Tell us what you want to talk about. Follow along. And as always, guys, please rate and subscribe. Keeps the lights on in this new spaceship we got. That's what I always like to say. So let's go right to it, because I want to talk about something, and it's the Fast and Furious 8 story. And Josh, I want all your thoughts on this, because we did off air kind of talk about our thoughts on Fast and Furious. Spoiler alert, we don't care much, but
Wait, I did not say that. Yeah.
About the movies.
I didn't say that.
Me and Josh said that.
Sure,
Can
I
I
know
say
you
that?
did.
Can I
You can
say
say that because I believe that they're all the same movie over and over again. I'm getting tired of them. I never
Well,
liked
yeah.
the franchise to begin with. They're absurd.
I'm with you on that.
But wait,
movies are-
that first movie is really good.
The first movie?
Yeah, I think so.
I've never seen
I
it.
think as a concept they're great, but we're up to the 8th movie at this point, and like there's no more.
Starting a trilogy.
I mean,
hear.
yes, at this point it's just like fun. It's a popcorn movie,
It's a popcorn movie.
which is fine.
I mean, I went and saw 7. I had to know, with the unfortunate passing.
You saw
seen them
7,
all.
right?
I saw 7.
Yeah.
I've seen them all. There's
Okay.
a side of me that feels like this is utterly absurd. This is the most
It is.
unrealistic garbage I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
The car flew from building to building, not once but twice.
I know.
That would never happen.
It's what the
There's
Bond films used to be. I feel like in the '90s,
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
fair comparison.
but just like on steroids.
I can't stand the fact that people take these movies seriously. It makes me
But
feel
they make
crazy.
so much money.
It
I'm
makes me feel
telling
crazy that you guys out there, you smart, intelligent people who I know personally, take these movies seriously and talk about them seriously, and I think you're just doing it to troll me. I think that's what it is at this point.
What about the emotion at the emotional
Oh, for crying
climax of the last film? Like that was very well done.
It was.
The Paul
I
Walker
could not
send
have
off.
rolled my eyes. I think
Oh,
I
come
actually bruised my eyes from rolling them so hard. I'm sorry.
awesome.
I know it's very sad that he
That's
died,
hilarious.
but he. And it's just so corny and so bad and schlocky and cheesy and all the different words that mean that same thing. I don't like it.
Well, we're going to talk about it anyways. And
because
this week,
it's Meet the Movie Press. So the reason I started with this is because, as you guys know, Jeff likes to drop stories and scoops and exclusives. And I cover them. I sit there and I wait and I kind of follow your feed as you're yelling at people sometimes. And then you drop something that F. Gary Gray is the front runner to
Yes.
direct Fast 8. Now, you dropped a clever hint about this a couple weeks ago. I gave you some hashtag ninja talk on Twitter.
that just made sense a few weeks ago.
Thank
I had
you.
not heard a goddamn thing.
No, but it made
was
sense.
just like this guy made a lot of money for them with Straight Outta Compton. They have a big open directing job.
Yep.
He's totally fits the mold.
Yep.
Like, why wouldn't?
Why wouldn't he? And so he did. Why is the action the Italian Job? Is that right?
He did the Italian Job.
So he has this background. I thought it was an interesting, and it's just kind of putting 2 and 2 together. Like you said, he's at Universal. He did Straight Outta Compton. Blah 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 blah. What I found interesting,
Yes.
is you drop it, I cover it, I trust you, and then at 2:32, this is what I said off air. 2:32, you post your story. At 2:38, Hollywood Reporter and Boris Kitt drops a list that there's three names.
It was Adam Wingard,
Yes.
and Louis Leterrier.
Okay. Then at 3:01, Justin Kroll at Variety drops 4 names on a
Right.
list.
He added Will Eubank, who Boris had in his story.
Yes.
But Boris had sort of said that he was a candidate earlier in the running, and then Justin said, no, he's still firmly in the mix. And then Boris was on Twitter saying, yeah, actually, you're right. I was a little early to rule him out.
And just a little bit of Marvel kind of baiting, I thought, was, and the Black Panther talk.
Oh, and Justin had that little factoid that, like, F. Gary Gray hasn't said yes yet. He's also in the mix for Black Panther.
Which makes sense. I get it all. Okay. Then, throughout the day, within hours, it's been updated that F. Gary Gray is going to take it. He's going to take the job. That he's sitting in a room with Vin Diesel.
I reported on Twitter that they were going to have that it was a meeting or that they were going to have dinner that night.
Yeah.
And that's sort of where they talked it over, and Vin convinced him that this is the right play.
So basically, throughout the day, it was like these stories were updated in time to kind of reflect what's going on with F. Gary Gray. I noticed that you just kind of dropped it and left. You're like, no, front runner.
I mean, I had a long
discussion.
Josh is just sitting this conversation out. He
I'm
wants
gonna
no
get
part of it. We'll be quick. We have a million things to talk about.
Because I find it interesting. What is that from your point of view? I want yours
what
too,
I was told
Josh.
Originally that it was between F. Gary Gray and some other person whose name I didn't get, but basically, it sounded like if F. Gary Gray wanted it, it was his.
Yes.
Done. No list. And while Louis Leterrier also would have been completely capable, and he's done big ensembles, with Now You See Me and whatnot.
The Incredible Hulk.
Right, yeah, he would be he would have been a cool director too. People like Will Eubank, whose the signal was okay.
Yeah.
I never thought he could pull it off. And Adam Wingard, whose work I love, I don't think he's ready to do Fast 8.
And
I just
Wingard
can't see
did
him.
The Guest?
Yeah.
I love The Guest.
Which is incredible. And,
Yeah.
and you're next. And he's a very talented guy, and he's got big things going on in his future. But I didn't think that he was sort of ready to start commanding The Rock and Vin Diesel around on set.
Okay, so being it's Meet the Movie Press, why did Boris and Justin Kroll just not have the information you had, or were they? It just
sounded
felt like
they had more information than me. They'd sort of been on it.
Sure.
But my source was sort of insistent that it was Gary's if he wanted it.
Okay.
And if he didn't, he could have not have. And we'll talk about what else he may have been considering coming up.
Okay.
If he didn't want it, maybe one of those guys would have gotten it.
Okay.
And you guys, is this a textbouck example of, and we've seen this a million times, of you guys forcing a decision?
Yeah.
Going out with stuff and
That's a good point.
making them go, okay, fine, let's do this. It doesn't seem like a
I mean,
coincidence that it happened
sounded
that day.
Yeah, exactly. I think that meeting was already on the books and everything, and I don't think that I sped up anybody's timetable. What does this sound?
I don't know what that sound is. I think F. Gary Gray just hacked in here and is listening.
All right, it's not your phone though. It's not messing with the mic, is it?
Yeah, I don't know. No.
Okay.
I don't see. Oh,
Sorry,
I did get a
folks.
text, so maybe.
There you go.
I'm gonna put it away.
All right, so I mean, that's Fast 8, and then before we move on to the next thing, do you like the hiring?
Yes, I do.
I do too.
I because I like F. Gary Gray. However, and Josh, I want your feedback on
Don't
this
care.
too.
You don't care.
I know you don't care
because you think it
They
doesn't
will not change one thing about the
because
movie.
it doesn't matter who directs these movies. Is that what you're saying?
Why is Vin Diesel not directing these movies at this point?
Yeah, it's a good point. And
That's
well,
what Vin
He should just
Are
be
you-
directing
are you
them,
Vin
starring
Diesel's
them,
mother?
producing- Well, I'm just saying, he's doing everything else. He might as well.
What I think is that he's actually, and I said it when I covered this, I said he's by far the most talented director to take this franchise on. And what blows my mind, it's the 8th movie in the franchise, and they finally got a good director. This is what I think.
Well, I mean, James Wan and Justin Lin are
Lin,
not
yeah.
bad
Okay,
directors.
let me take that back. Let me step back just a bit.
Walk it back.
Yes, those are talented directors, but F. Gary Gray is like Oscar caliber in my mind. I think he could.
I'd
can
love
hit
Straight Outta
something.
Compton. It's
I love
definitely
Straight
in
Outta
the
Compton.
top 10 of
I don't
this
know
year
if
for
he'll
me.
get a nomination. I think he's better than Fast 8 though. That's what I think. So maybe he's going to elevate the
money
material.
is so great.
Yeah, money talks, and it's like, what other project was he going to go and do? I know Justin had said Black Panther,
yeah.
but Black Panther's not close
Yeah.
to
not even a
going.
script, maybe.
But yeah. So anyways, we'll move from Fast 8 to that Black Panther story. I broke that they are hiring a writer finally, Joe Robert Cole, who's one of their in-house guys.
Yeah.
Josh, I don't know if you saw
Is it
this.
possible that he could do both with the timetables on these two movies?
No.
There's no
From
way.
what I'm told, the way that it was phrased to me was that if he takes Fast 8, it doesn't matter when that Black Panther script comes in because it's a moot point.
Okay.
That was the phrase that I literally heard, moot point.
Interesting.
So, and plus they just moved Black Panther up. They just
Yeah,
moved it up
true.
4 or 5 months. So
Yeah.
it's actually, so now it's coming before the Infinity War movies? Yes?
Yeah.
I think it's coming.
gonna
It's
go
going to be in
Marvel.
between,
Right.
and now it's before, right?
I'm gonna look, because there's a lot of dates that switched around, and now it's all just blurred in my head. I have
Ant-Man and
no
the Wasp
idea.
just screwed everything up.
Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel
Threw
getting
this
moved
whole
and-
Marvel world into disarray.
No, I wish it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, I was talking about it on the Schmoes Main show last night. They're like, "What are the dates?" I'm like, "I hold on."
Okay, I'll just put it out there.
Okay.
So from what I heard, Gary Gray after Compton was only considering 2 movies. One was Furious 8, and the other required meetings in San Francisco.
Wow, I know what you're. I know this.
That leaves literally 2 possibilities, my
I know
friends.
this.
The
Okay.
first possibility, which is what I'm thinking that it was to possibly replace Josh Trank
Right.
Yeah.
on
first
the
thing that came
Boba
to
Fett
mind.
movie.
Yeah.
And I do think that Boba Fett will be African American.
Wow. Okay.
You think the director will be or the character will be?
I think that the character will be. I don't know if they'll end up getting a black director, but I think perhaps that's maybe. And it's not that black people can only direct movies starring black people or anything like that. Don't take me wrong.
No.
But I think I just remember hearing somewhere Michael B. Jordan rumors for Boba Fett.
Okay.
And I think that F. Gary Gray would make a lot of sense. And again, Disney has a huge diversity mandate, and
Obviously.
Star Wars has been what, all white male directors so far. I'm telling you, they want some diversity. And don't pull that. I know you're gonna rub Spider-Man in my face right now.
No, that was an educated guess.
I have heard, that
I
they may lean somewhere else other than a white male director.
Okay, I love that idea. Okay, for me as a Star Wars fan though, it's bumping against me. Isn't Boba Fett a clone? And
I don't know.
Tamira Morrison.
Forget any of.
Okay,
I don't know
so-
any of that stuff. Okay,
Got
I
it.
don't believe me. So
I'm
then
just-
the second possibility,
God,
if it's
this
not
is-
the Boba Fett
He
movie,
is dropping pearls, guys.
Indiana
Listen.
Jones. Indiana Jones is going to be coming together soon,
I love that.
and he kind of has the right pedigree for that. I can sort of see.
I would love all of that, Josh.
So all I know is the point of this rumor drop here is that, and again, who knows if the timetable for Fast 8 now takes him out of the running for these projects too, which have long pre-production periods.
Sure.
But the point of this story is he has had meetings with Lucasfilm.
Okay.
That's it.
Period.
That is what, if you guys are going to pick this shit up,
Yeah.
that would be the headline. F. Gary Gray has had meetings meetings with Lucasfilm.
You're sure that it's Lucasfilm because we're just you said San Francisco.
Well,
Other
you know what? I
possibilities,
don't
too.
think he was up there meeting with Pixar.
Pixar. I don't know.
Hey, good. No.
All right.
So-
I like that a lot. I have a lot of thoughts on that. But Josh, what do you think? I mean, are you a Star Wars
We're getting
fan?
real
First off?
speculative.
Listen, I'm a really weird Star Wars person because I was 4 when the first movie came out. It blew my mind.
Nice.
It basically drove my entire imagination for the better part of 20 years.
Me too. I was 2 and
Then
did that. So,
then
yeah.
then the prequels came along, and I was excited as anyone, and also as disappointed as anyone, and I'm incredibly jaded about it. I just. And where I sort of go off the rails is when I look at the enthusiasm around this next movie and how everybody's basically already bought it hook, line, and sinker. They're
Yes.
buying toys, they're dressing up, they're freaking out.
Haven't seen anything. We don't even know what it's about.
Yeah.
The movie could be horrible. It could be horrible.
It could be horrible, but do you really think it's going to be horrible?
know it's not
I don't
going to be.
know. I don't know. That's the thing. And I always listen. If there's a possibility of it being horrible, which there's some stars aligning for that, then it could be. I mean, what if it is? I just
it
want
could
to
be.
That would
wait
be
till
real
see it.
depressing.
And I will get back on that train the minute I walk out of the theater if the movie's great. But listen, when's the last time JJ made a great movie? A great movie.
Well,
Or even like a really good
Mission
movie.
Impossible 3.
Yeah,
I would
wait
say.
a second. Wait a second. I think J.J. Abrams is a pretty good director. I
Star
really
Trek
liked
I
Mission
adore.
Impossible 3.
Yep.
That was when it came out. It was the best
I
Mission
was just
Impossible.
watching that last night.
Yep.
And I love Super 8.
I do too.
Love it.
Yeah, I think Super 8
Unabashedly.
I had some warm feelings for Super 8. I'll give you that. But the Star Trek movies were dubious.
No, the Star Trek movies are not good.
See, I love the Star Trek movies.
Nope.
And maybe it's because I'm not a Star Trek fan. The Star Trek, the first one, got me because I thought it was clever. I thought it was a great way to like kind of reboot the series.
It was okay, yeah.
So I really like.
But it wasn't great.
And a lot of people don't like Into Darkness, and I think it comes from that mystery box he was playing with a lot, and then trying to revisit the holiest story in the Star Trek universe.
Never gonna live up to that mystery box.
Yeah.
Dude,
shenanigans.
Yeah, but like. The mystery box is not why people don't like that movie. And
no, I think it's the story.
The Khan thing, I didn't watch the first Khan movie. It's like geekdom, I think, overthinks some of this stuff. Like a big fan like yourself.
Yeah,
it's not a good movie.
It's just very forgettable.
Into Darkness is not a good movie.
I saw the film twice. I can't tell you one thing about it. I don't remember one thing about it. I remember them running through that red field at one point. And jumping.
Totally
the opening
forgettable.
sequence was cool.
I guess I am a very small minority, and I am hearing this more and more that people are actually hating Into Darkness more than I thought they did. Wow. Okay, but however,
to stay on the Star Wars.
we
Let's
are.
stay on Star
I
Wars.
wasn't ready to leave it, but go ahead.
Well, I just with the premiere date and them apparently not. I don't know exactly where this is coming from, but them not screening it early.
Yeah.
Really?
Everyone's.
Wait a minute.
Dude,
I didn't hear that.
You think that's because of quality?
I really don't. And I don't think that's because of quality, because of what I do know about the movie.
Well, spit it out. I mean,
I can't tell you. I'm not going to tell you.
But you can't tease things
I'm
on this
just gonna
show.
say,
I'm sorry.
oh shit, because I feel
I
like
don't know
I know
what
where
he's.
you're going.
I
with
don't,
this.
I don't know. I have not figured it out.
From what I know, and this is not a rumor, and this is not like something that I heard on the wind. It's something that I know, and I deeply wish I did not, because the burden of knowing this sucks.
Okay.
They don't want to screen it because
Not good.
no, the movie could be perfectly
Let him
fine.
finish, Mark. Let him finish.
No, because what happens is too big to leak out. It has to stay a secret.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I think I know what you're talking about too.
And I agree that while I feel like we could keep that secret because we're professionals, there are too many people.
That's right.
Who would leak it? Yes, because because studios let anyone is fucking press these days. Anyone can get into these screens. It's unbelievable.
You can't control who goes in when the lights go down.
The studio should only let a select few group of critics and journalists and trusted publications see it.
They're still but we are the leaky. I don't know.
I think really we are? I don't think that people like us and the people that we know are. I think it's the people at these all media days and junkets, like those people who you cannot trust with this kind of stuff.
This is the kind of thing that would get out.
Yeah, and I would never do that as a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I think I know everything that happens, but I would never tell anybody.
I think I have an idea, and I've heard things, and I've seen things on the internet where I've been like, well, oh God, and I just so.
The internet isn't where you're going to find the answers to Force Awakens, my friend.
Well, I mean, I think there are certain clues on the internet from certain people, and I'm starting to piece them together. I mean, I know a lot of people that have actually come on the show that have dropped stuff that I've read that is completely spoilerific, and I'm like, oh, geez, here we go. So, okay,
well, you're right.
I know where you're going with this, Josh, and for the fans at home, I guess you could probably read into that a lot.
I think it's a good strategy on Disney's part. I don't know. They don't need reviews.
They don't need to do anything with this movie. They could just put the movie out.
Yes,
I mean,
you're absolutely right.
They're going to spend a couple $100 million on marketing, all told.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they could have spent $0 on marketing. It wouldn't have made any difference. I think they do that because they're going to recoup it, and it's kind of fun, and it's in service of the fans to do all this stuff. Obviously, you have to go.
That would be amazing if there was just no trailers, no posters. It was just one day Force Awakens winds up in theaters.
Yeah,
maybe they'll do that on 8.
Love for them to do something.
That would be amazing. But all the people already camping outside the theater would be pissed. I think they need to know.
Let's not say anything bad about this because premieres in LA.
Yeah.
So
I know I'm not going to that. I have no delusions whatsoever about being there.
I'm telling you, Linda G at work, who I love and work closely with. She's like ready to give me her firstborn to be my date to the premiere if I end up going.
Yeah. So some people in the live chat are already dropping a lot of what they think. I don't know. Look at the live chat and knock yourself out.
Well, let's keep chatting Star Wars real quickly because
I like
Latino
this.
Review came out with a story that Gugu Mbatha-Raw was in the mix for Star Wars Episode 8.
Yes.
And then a day or two ago, Collider came in and said she got it, and she's in negotiations.
It makes sense.
You haven't seen a trade story on that, but...
Yeah, what say you?
I don't think I would argue with the reporting there.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
So
it just makes sense. That's
Boris, Kit at Hollywood Reporter, and I, as far as I know, have both been holding Gugu since Toronto.
Okay.
You know, I think that there are 2 new major female characters in Episode 8. I know that Disney, again, like I mentioned, the diversity mandate, and they also love to work with the same people.
Okay.
You know, whether it's Chris Pine in Into the Woods, and now he's doing The Finest Hours, Gugu is in Beauty and the Beast. Coming up.
That's right.
So I do happen to think, and again, I haven't reported it. Boris hasn't reported it. There's probably reasons that we haven't, but I do think that you are looking at Gugu Mbatha-Raw in Star Wars Episode 8.
And now you said there are 2 strong female leads.
I believe
that
so,
are,
yeah.
So joining, essentially, we think Daisy Ridley makes it into the next movie. She's been seen filming with Rian Johnson. So we're
Actually, already? Wow, they're already filming?
Over at...
Dude, you're way ahead of me on that.
Yeah, over at the... I'm a Star Wars geek, you know. It's over at the... You guys can help me out with that island out in Ireland, Skellig.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they were just doing pickups.
I thought that was Rogue One, no?
No. And it might be used for, different things, but I know that Rian Johnson was there and Mark Hamill and Daisy Ridley. That's what I heard.
Interesting.
So, sorry, guys. Spoiler alert. Should I say spoiler alert?
I had heard that was pickup shots, but it's getting a little late in the game for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So maybe
It's
not.
never too late, right? I mean, Avengers is filming that tag, at the press
After-
day the week
after the
before?
premiere, yeah.
True. That's
all right.
interesting. So, Josh, so your thoughts on Force Awakens aside, are you, with all this reporting at Mashable, are you like every Star Wars story that comes out, are you reporting on this, or are you like picking and choosing?
We pick and choose a little bit. I mean,
kinda
my
what I
audience
do.
is a little more broad, and a little
Right.
more commercialized than sort of the trades and the fan sites.
Yeah.
We try to stick to the stuff that's really going to resonate and go viral, and people are going to care about on a wider. Bigger than the Star Wars audience? Not that much is bigger than the Star Wars audience, but
That's true.
But I have a guy in San Francisco, Chris Taylor, who wrote a book about Star Wars.
Yeah,
and
he's one of my favorite people.
Oh, okay, great.
I got to be on Jedi Alliance and co-host the show with Ken Napstok, and he was on, and I read that
great.
book, and
Well,
it
then
was
shout out to
incredible.
my colleague Chris Taylor.
Yes. That's an amazing book, by the way, everybody out there, How Star Wars Conquered the Galaxy.
Yeah,
It's
he sent me a
amazing.
copy.
Yeah.
It is. It's great.
Yeah.
And he's great, and I generally just sort of flip all the Star Wars stuff to him and let him make the call on it.
There you go.
Because, like I said, you need somebody with the enthusiasm, and right now I have the skepticism. You want to keep me out of the mix for that stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
But I will be listening. If the movie's great, I'm totally on board. You will
Yeah.
see me. Yeah, you
All right.
will see me. Although, can I throw this out there?
Yeah. Throw it out.
Everybody loves BB-8.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Loves BB-8. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is the greatest character. People probably don't realize, and I've done some reporting on this, some sort of stealth reporting, and I haven't been able to substantiate it yet. But how would people feel? Would it matter if they found out that
It's a
BB-8?
ripoff?
No, that BB-8 was designed after a toy. In other words, Disney went, we have this.
Let's design
we
a
have this
toy."
toy here.
Okay.
We really like this toy company. JJ, could you build a character around this toy? And JJ looks at it and goes, I mean, I guess I could. We could. So instead of
Reverse engineered.
right? They reverse engineered the BB-8 toy because Disney
Knew it would sell.
no,
a ton
Disney
of
went.
toys.
Disney went all in on one of its accelerator companies, which is called Sphero. Sphero makes the BB-8 toy, but before they made the BB-8 toy, they just made these balls that rolled around and you could control them with your phone.
What
and
can we
everyone's
do
like,
with these
yeah.
things?
Iger saw this company and the
God.
interactive, saw this company and went,
Totally believable.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes a
can't-
lot of
I
sense.
could be wrong. Look at my Disney friends. I could be wrong about this. I haven't been able to substantiate it.
In the world
but if you
we-
look at the timeline of them picking up Sphero, investing money in
Sure.
the company, and then suddenly here's BB-8. Just saying.
Well,
I'm just saying.
I don't think you're wrong at all. I think you're absolutely
It makes
right.
a ton of sense. Like, hey, we want to sell toys around Star Wars. Let's just find a toy that we can sell and incorporate it into the
And
movie.
that people, it's an interactive play toy. People use their phones with it. It's
well,
like a.
here's the thing. To answer your question, no, it doesn't matter.
I don't
Yeah.
think it matters. I don't think it's gonna make people like it any less. But it's an interesting part of the development process.
Yeah, it's just I think it just shows where we are with these big IPs. I mean, it's just like they are reverse engineering, like you're saying, and that's going to happen even more so in the future, and especially for something like Star Wars.
As long as they're not selling product placement in there, and like John Boyega's eating like Reese's Pieces. Or,
yeah, if BB-8 has Bud Light symbol on the side of it, then we have problems. But I'm sure it's interesting, and I do want to play with BB-8 on my phone. So
it doesn't make him any less endearing a droid. I just think it's a funny.
It's interesting.
If Disney wants to come out and deny this, I will stand down.
Okay,
I will stand down.
Fair enough. All right, I say we move on and we stay in Disney because I want to talk about Thor 3.
Yep.
Okay, because that was a nice drop last week. Jeff Sneider, everybody, was on fire last week, and it was Friday you dropped Thor 3.
Yeah, it was right after the show. That's what I try to do.
Way to fucking go, dude. That was awesome. Yeah, we don't want to talk about it here.
So, I had a big assist from El Mayimbe over at Heroic Hollywood on
nice.
It, who kind of, sent me down the path, so to speak, down the rabbit hole.
Okay.
But then he started teasing it the next morning, kind of tipping off my competitors that there had been a decision.
Okay.
So I kind of felt like I had to act fast.
Yeah.
It's going to be Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
I was hoping you would do it first because I can't do it.
But yeah, he is Marvel's first kind of diverse director hire, right? What do you make of that, Josh?
I think it's probably way past due for something like that.
Yeah,
but I don't
agree.
think that's. I also don't necessarily think that's why they hired him. I mean,
No, of course not. I don't think that's why they hired him either. I think it's his sensibility.
Mm-hmm.
And they just had really good luck with first-time directors, and they can kind of, it's like when you hire a veteran on your newsroom or somebody who's kind of young and hungry who you can kind of coach and maybe have a little more influence over. Which is sort of my preference, and I understand why they do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. But I really liked What We Do in the Shadows. I
haven't seen a single thing. I had to update my story. I had to update it like twice because at first I was like, he's a total unknown. And because I couldn't find anything really.
Flight of the Conchords, though. No, you didn't watch that?
Didn't watch Flight of the Conchords. So I just saw that, but I was kind of on the mindset because of Flight of the Conchords. I was like, well, he's kind of not a tested big budget director, so that's where I was going with it.
Yeah, no, he's not.
But then I hear he did Boy, which is the highest grossing movie in New Zealand. I learned that through one of my very smart fans out there were like, no, this is who he is. I'm like, oh, okay. So I did a little bit more research, and just knowing what the kind of the genres he's working in, I changed my thinking. I went, interesting. This is really cool for the title. Thor Ragnarok is an interesting Marvel story for Thor that's going to do a lot of setting up for Avengers Infinity War. So this guy is getting it. Wow. And I saw that he tweeted out who spilled the beans or something like that.
He was like, oh, geez, who blabbed?
Who blabbed? And then he was like, and then he removed the tweet.
Deleted it. Yeah, okay. that made me feel good.
Oh, there you go. So that was kind of a confirmation right there. So, yeah, Josh, you were kind of touching on, I think, it's overdue for, I guess, the diversity element of this. Are you familiar with his work?
I've not seen What We Do in the Shadows, but I know that people really like it, and I have seen, and I am a Flight of the Conchords guy. Look, I don't particularly think I think we're at the point with Marvel directors where they're just like, we just want somebody who's going to cooperate. Right?
Yeah.
We just want somebody who's going to... Peyton, I talked to Peyton Reed long after Ant-Man wrapped, and he loved that experience. He was like, this was great. I had a lot of fun, and we got to have some input, and he's the kind of agreeable,
collaborator.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's what they're looking for, because you throw in Edgar Wright, who is great, and cast no aspersion on Edgar Wright, but if you're working with him, you are tangling.
You're with an auteur.
I mean,
he has his own sort of way of doing things.
Yeah.
I think that Taika is a more interesting choice than Ruben Fleischer.
I agree. Yeah. Ruben is a bit of a mercenary. I like Ruben, but he's a mercenary, and he's a good budget. He's good at holding down the budget. And
he has his own kind of style, which I kind of appreciate.
Yeah.
And What We Do in the Shadows, as someone pointed out correctly, like it really deals in mythology.
Okay.
And that kind of thing. And
so like vampires,
Thor
right?
has a lot of that.
Yeah.
The only thing I care about with Thor Ragnarok, and I don't think I have to worry about this, is that it ties into the bigger story here, and that it's not like Iron Man 3 where it's this goofy, completely detached one-off where the character doesn't make any sense. And I thought Iron Man 3 was a mess. It was my least favorite Marvel movie by far.
Thank you. I almost hated it. I
was watching it. It's
I love
on
Shane
FX
Black.
right now or something.
Shane Black he got good. I remember that getting good reviews.
Oh, everybody loved it, and I'm watching.
I
didn't understand
I watched it, and now I'm watching back at having seen Avengers, Ultron, and I'm like, this movie fits into nothing. It doesn't make
absolutely.
It's better than 2 though.
I don't think so.
I like 2 better.
I like 2 better.
And you know, I was really hating it is because Shane Black kind of did the same thing he did in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, narration. It's at Christmas, and you know it's the same kind of thing.
Those are like his things.
That's his thing.
It's like my thing is I wear a jaunty hat everywhere I go, and he had to wear his jaunty hat on Iron Man 3.
Well, that's why I thought when it came out this past summer that Ant-Man was truly the best Marvel movie that I've seen. I know Guardians is great. Guardians is great. I really like Winter Soldier too, but I really like it.
Ant-Man is...
I liked it a lot.
It's not in my top 5, but it's almost there. I thought it was great. And you guys you're on the live chat, and let me ask you guys, is Peyton Reed coming back for Ant-Man and the Wasp?
You know what? I would think so.
Yeah.
Just because he stepped into an impossible situation for them, knocked it out of the park, or did as well as could be expected for that character. I don't see why they wouldn't return that loyalty. Yeah. Repay the favor.
At least I hope they do. I totally agree.
I hope so too.
I thought he did a great job.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
And he can make it more his kind of movie or whatever.
And the things that he added to that movie were great.
Yeah.
He added that whole sequence where they go subatomic. That was him.
Really?
That was him and McKay. Yeah, they inserted that whole idea.
That's a great.
I know. That was
doesn't
the
that
coolest,
tie?
to me, that was the coolest part of the movie.
And I think it's smart too because there were rumors that it's like going to tie to some Doctor Strange stuff because it's like alternate dimensions kind of stuff. You know,
that would be
blowing
really cool.
your mind out there, Marvel. Well done.
So yeah, let's segue from Marvel to DC. Because we have a lot to get to this show, and I do want to talk about some of the movies that are opening this week.
Yeah, me too.
Over at DC, they hired Seth Grahame-Smith to direct The Flash.
I don't like this.
I don't feel like this movie is really happening. I really don't.
I don't know where that is out of left field, and I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of that guy. He everything he's written is just for the screen has just landed with a thud in my mind.
He seems like a nice guy. I mean,
I'm sure he's nice.
He's talented. And he's got creative ideas.
I just want I don't know. For Lord and Miller to be writing The Flash and then not direct it. I know they're doing Star Wars and blah blah blah, but I just felt like, what? How is this possible? You disagree with me? I see it.
I don't. It's not that I disagree because I think you're right. It was a big surprise when I heard and I went like, really?
Yeah.
Especially with DC sort of touting itself as a director-driven studio or brand or whatever.
And he hasn't directed, correct?
He's directed, a couple of episodes of, The Hard Times of R.J. Berger or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, the show that that David created, or something.
Yeah.
But no, he hasn't really directed before. He's written on a bunch of big things, and Warner's clearly trusts him, like Beetlejuice and Lego Batman. But yes, the stuff that has come out, whether it's Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter
Dark Shadows.
And I thought Dark Shadows was okay. But yeah, it hasn't been sort of received well. Sorry.
I think he's like an ideas guy. He's like Lindelof. Like, get him on board, have him sort of consulting, and he's got great creative ideas. But then the execution is sort of like, let's leave that to somebody else.
And he is a really nice guy. Like when I was at Variety, actually, Justin and I sort of went on a little double date meeting with Seth and David Katzenberg, his producing partner. So really nice guys. But yes, definitely surprised.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm being kind of hard on the guy. Personally, I don't know him. I'm sure he's a great guy.
We'll see what he wants to do.
I take my Star Wars and my comic book movies very seriously. And this is, I'm like, there's already people that are either in the Zack Sneider camp or out of it, and he's kind of running it. Now we don't really know. I don't know. It's just weird for me. I'm going to go on record saying I'm not pleased.
I'd still rather have a guy like that who maybe doesn't have a big track record than someone who's sort of an anonymous journeyman.
Like an Alan Taylor.
Or a Ruben Fleischer.
Yeah,
I would honestly rather have someone like Seth. So,
well, I mean, if they're following, look, Marvel does a kind of an unknown director, untested, maybe the Russo brothers because they did some television and then they do Winter Soldier. So, and they get away with it. So DC's doing it. So why don't I'll give the benefit of the doubt and hope for the best, And there's a lot of movies that are going to come out they're going to dictate what that movie looks like for the shared universe. So
let's not all just sort of jump to the point of negativity.
I get it.
Let's give the guy a chance.
Sure.
And meanwhile, over at DC, to change things up, the tracking board dropped an interesting rumor. And after this, we're done with comic book movies as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Why, Jeff? That Scott Rudin is going to produce the Justice League Dark movie.
Yeah.
Dark Universe.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, they dropped a rumor. It's unconfirmed at this time.
We didn't cover it because of the.
They've been hit and miss. The tracking board's hit and miss, but who knows? They could be right about this.
It's interesting.
And yeah, I mean, we knew that Guillermo del Toro had sort of fallen off as director.
Yeah.
I don't know who they will end up getting. I haven't heard anything. I don't really know that we need this movie.
No.
And it's John Constantine leading a group of characters I've never heard of.
Yeah, Swamp Thing I think is in there.
But I probably would have said the same thing about Suicide Squad, and that looks amazing. So
yeah, true.
If they go with another sort of gritty R-rated movie, I don't know. I don't think Suicide Squad is rated R, but
it just seems kind of, if that's happening, and Scott Rudin, who's like arguably one of the biggest producers there is, shouldn't we wait to see how Suicide Squad does and Justice America League of the superhero people?
Well, I mean, they're going to do great, and they look amazing. So
yeah, okay.
I think the biggest test for where the genre is going is going to be the Deadpool movie.
Yes.
I mean, if a bloody, gnarly, R-rated, super adult, hyper stylized superhero movie works to the effect that I think it's going to.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think the whole genre will start to turn in that direction.
And Heroic Hollywood ran a review from a test screening of Deadpool, and the person really liked it. And Fox made him take it down, strangely.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the grounds were, since really their beef is with whoever signed the agreement not to review it and then sent in a review anyways.
How long before
I'm sure it was more of a
down?
leverage thing than a grounds thing.
Yeah. But yeah, it was encouraging. If I'm trying to work up my enthusiasm, I'll put it this way: the most encouraging thing from my perspective right now is that I've heard that Ryan Reynolds is not going to take another movie until Deadpool comes out.
Okay. Really?
Which to me is a good sign. Like, they are so confident that this is going to maybe elevate him. They don't want to, take whatever offers until just wait until February. We'll be talking about a different Ryan Reynolds.
I like that.
I believe it.
I totally believe it. And
we'll see.
Ryan Reynolds, I'm sorry, the guy deserves it. He is so good and just has done some movies that haven't hit for me. Except I love Buried. I thought
Which one?
Buried. Have you ever seen Buried?
This guy, I remember your reaction to that
Dude,
movie.
I fucking hated Buried.
You hated Buried?
Dude,
How do you hate Buried?
Buried is trash.
I avoided it because of your reaction to it.
That movie
Well,
was garbage.
I loved that movie.
But
so,
I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you.
We are going to stick with Scott Rudin.
Okay. Ooh, I like this.
And we're going to talk about Stephen Jobs.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, I want to see this
Posted
movie.
my review last night.
Yeah, I read it. It was, honestly, I read your review and I was like, I couldn't write this. Like, I used to be a critic, and I just don't think I could be as eloquent as the way I read it in your review today. So why don't you sort of tell us what you thought?
Well, that's nice. I do not consider myself a film critic, although starting last year at Toronto, I started doing reviews because we just sort of needed to get them going, and I've got Jordan Hoffman doing them for me now, too, and I really like the way our audience is responding to them, and I like doing it. I think it's fun. So, Steve Jobs. I went into this movie with pretty blank expectations. I thought I could go either way for me.
Sure.
Sorkin is hit or miss. I think he just crushed this script.
Yep.
I think Danny Boyle is not getting nearly enough credit. It's visually gorgeous. There's this tension that sort of builds and builds and builds the whole movie, even though there's not like a thing that there's no MacGuffin that they're going after.
Right.
There's no is this going to be resolved? Is that going to be resolved? It just sort of it just ratchets up slowly, scene by scene. There's a couple of scenes in there that could have gone horribly wrong. There's the scene where Jobs and the Apple CEO are having two conversations. One is in the past, one is in the present.
And it's intercut.
They flip back and forth between the two.
Jeff
Daniels, yeah.
That's right.
Dude, the editing is amazing.
They flip back and forth between those two conversations. I was like,
yes.
Whoa, this is a thing. And that could have just fallen on its face. It was brilliant.
I completely agree.
There's a bunch of stuff in the movie that's along those lines that just touches and decisions and certain lines of dialogue. It's really good. Now, it's not a very accurate film. it doesn't really show you much.
I've
it doesn't
actually heard
show
that.
you much. It's not very deep in terms of the story of Steve Jobs. It's just very deep into these characters, although I don't know how accurate that depth is, and I don't care. It's such an enjoyable movie-going experience.
I agree.
That I didn't care that when people are going to freak out that it's, that it's not this and that and the other. It's not
somewhat
accurate.
happy ending. Is that what we're hinting at?
Right. There's that. There's a couple of other things. There's some composite characters. There's some stuff that that happens in front of a bunch of people that didn't happen. There are these like iconic conversations that are just sort of made from ether. I don't care. It's great. It was so much fun to sit and watch that movie.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it again, and I saw it 2 nights ago.
It's like watching a tennis match. I
Really?
mean, with the verbal sparring, and everyone gets their scene to shine. Like, as great as Fassbender is in this role, and we'll talk about it more in a second, like, Jeff Daniels, Seth Rogen, Kate Winslet, and for me, Michael Stuhlbarg as Andy Hertzfeld was fucking amazing.
Who's great.
They
were
all
talking
get
of Seth Rogen too, who's good. I mean, I think I like seeing him doing.
They
something
all
different.
just get a chance to shine and go back and forth with Fassbender. So the script was great. I'm making a play to hopefully, maybe, fingers crossed, publish it on the Wrap.
The script. Ooh. That'd be great.
We published the Nightcrawler screenplay last year, which I really got behind. So we'll see. I'm sure everybody would love
very
that.
disciplined performance from Fassbender. I thought that could have been really showy or really like, and he just
like, it would have been fascinating to see what Bale did with it. I thought it was
I agree.
perfect for Bale. I cannot
for
see
Bale.
Leonardo DiCaprio in it
I was
at
just
all.
going to ask you.
Not at
I
all.
couldn't either. Bale,
awful.
because I was to go to the building of this movie with Rudin, how you started. It was over at Sony. I don't know if you guys heard about this. Over at Sony, Fincher was going to direct it. Christian Bale. Well, it was first DiCaprio,
Leo, and then
Christian Bale, and then it all fell apart after the leaks, and then it moved over to Universal.
Yes.
And Danny Boyle and all that. So that's the backstory. I am so excited that it works because all my colleagues are saying the same thing. In different ways.
And here's the thing. Halfway through the movie, I was like, this is like firing on all cylinders, but I'm actually not sure that it works as a movie.
Interesting.
It feels honestly more like a play, but by the end of it, it hit me emotionally, and I thought it was a very good movie. I think it will be a Best Picture nomination. I don't think it will win, but I do think it will be in the mix. For
I
sure.
don't think it'll win either, but it would be a worthy winner. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's going to win, but I feel like it could. If it did, I wouldn't lose my mind
Is this
like I
like-
have for the past few years.
So are we talking like across the board here? We got Best Screenplay,
Yes.
Best Director, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, maybe?
Director will be interesting.
Yeah,
Everybody loves Danny Boyle, but I don't know that that's a given.
Okay.
Editing, I think so. A picture editing,
Sure.
screenplay, Fassbender.
Yeah.
And
Score?
Then, and
Score's
the
great.
score was pretty good, yeah. And then the supporting people. I think
Jeff
I
Daniels.
think it'll be
I'm hearing Jeff Daniels a lot.
Winslet for sure, and she could win. And
course.
and Daniels was great. It could be any of those people.
My one criticism of this movie and Winslet is that in the first
The
act,
accent?
in the first act, she's just talking in an American accent.
Yes.
Okay.
With little touches of Polish, and then in the second act, which is supposedly happens many years later, now she is talking like full Eastern European.
And by the third act, it
really
was
off the rails.
Well, isn't it because she went and
She does
lived
the
back
opposite.
east for a while in between those?
I don't
kidding.
know.
I have no fucking
I just
idea.
thought that the accent would be strong in the first act and disappear
Right,
as the
and it
film
does
went
the
along.
opposite.
It really does. By the third act, she
Yeah, she should have done the Kevin Costner and Robin Hood, where
I
you start
agree.
out with the strong
But
accent.
she was still great.
She was great.
And honestly, I would love
It's
to
a
see
nitpick.
Michael. I mean, as good as Rogen and Jeff Daniels are, and they're bigger stars, and they'll probably get more attention.
Sure.
Stuhlbarg is amazing.
Okay.
I thought.
Well, that's the movie I'm seeing this weekend. I'm now seeing all these movies now.
Well,
Jeff.
but if you see Steve Jobs, then how are you going to see Pan?
Pan.
And it's
Well,
time for Josh Dickey to
talk
talk
about
about Pan.
Pan.
I haven't
So-
seen it.
Talk
You haven't
about
seen
Pan.
it.
Talk
This is
about
going to be
Pan.
your
Talk about
segment.
Pan.
This is your segment, buddy.
I've heard
Which
bad
camera do I
things.
have? I want to look into the camera when I talk about this.
And be nice because I like Sarah Schechter.
Yes.
Was
One
that
of-
her movie?
She would, yes.
And I actually hung out with
like-
Jason Fuchs last night, the screenwriter. Nice guy. Very
Oh my
nice
Just
guy.
until he's at lunch with Jason. He's a
and
nice-
Jason and
So a
and-
lot of nice people made this movie.
What, but no, do not let me color your
Yeah.
opinion or anything. Do not hold back. What I will say is that Jason, this was a passion project. He had been working on this since he was like 9
Mm-hmm.
in his head. And this is what happens. Good script, perhaps.
Yeah, good
Bad
intentions.
execution.
Well, the
like,
script is horrible.
Go for it.
okay,
Take it
then
away,
you go.
Josh. Take it away.
I have no loyalty
right.
to Jason. I just
Where's
he's
camera
a nice
one?
guy. Camera one, right there.
This was the worst movie I've possibly ever seen. And you guys who know me... You guys who know me know
I'm hearing this.
You know that I say that a lot, but I'm telling you with as much emphasis as I can put on it, this movie is worth seeing. You need to go to the theater and pay. Don't wait for it to come out on Netflix. Go to the theater and pay money to have the experience of watching a total cinematic meltdown disaster.
Was it better or worse than Drive? You asshole.
Drive is one of those movies that I
like
just don't
Drive,
like,
though.
and I have very specific reasons not
You
to
don't
like
get
it. But
you can see how other
But I
people
don't.
would.
Yeah, I can see how other
Okay.
people who don't have a
But
clue
Pan-
about cars or driving or organized crime would like that movie.
Or filmmaking? I don't know.
Yeah, right. Because of its style. People like that style, fine.
Yeah.
Pan just misfires on every single level.
And yet, and let's take this with a grain of salt. The movie was not made for, let's call you a 35-year-old critic.
Wow, thanks.
I'm being real generous there.
Yeah.
It was not made for people our age. It was made for kids, and your kids loved
I
it,
took
right?
my kids to the screening, and
Okay.
I sat there with them, and I thought, these poor kids are suffering through this. They were like jumping, and they were kind of like they were squirming in their seats.
And the lights come up,
and I was like, they're gonna be so mad. They don't want to go. They
Right.
really did not want to go. They didn't care. We walked out of there, and
Wow.
I was ready to say, okay, guys, that was pretty bad, right? And my youngest one was, I loved it. And then my middle one was like, that was great. I want to see that again. And my son, and I'm like, okay, my son is gonna know better. He's 10. He's gonna be like, this was a hot bag of vomit. Okay. He was like, no, that was pretty good. I thought that was good. And my mouth is
There you
open.
go.
Like, are you kidding me? What
Yep.
we saw on screen was a dumpster fire of a film.
And people would probably say the same thing about Hook, and I loved Hook as a
Oh,
kid.
I love Hook.
I was getting texts the other day from a friend in Boston with a little girl, and she was like, "Can you get me a copy of Pan?" And I was like, "Listen, I don't know who you think I am."
it's as I
But
said in my
they're
review,
excited.
it's not one of those movies that's so bad it's good.
No, yeah.
It's just so bad that it's fascinating to watch. You know what I mean?
Like, how did this movie happen?
how did this scene
There was something
get
like that
approved?
that happened recently, and I forget which one it was, but
I can say just by looking at the commercials, I felt like the tone was all over the place, especially Hugh Jackman. He seems like all he's doing is yelling and looking weird.
I had not heard about the singing either with like Nirvana and the Ramones.
I'm not spoiling this for any. Yes, there are two scenes
That's
in the movie.
right.
One where they are chanting "Smells Like Teen Spirit" as the new recruits are coming in.
So that's for the kids.
What? But this is supposedly set in a world that's the real world is in World War II. So and then Neverland is some faraway other dimension place, and they're singing "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
Wait
and
a
then
minute,
later
they-
on, they do Blitzkrieg Bop. So they do two numbers.
That kids
And
would never
never again.
know.
Right.
Yeah,
It was
these
ridiculous.
songs. Okay.
It was ridiculous.
How was the kid though? I'm curious.
He's fine. He was fine. He actually was kind of a gamer, and he didn't annoy
He was
me.
up for it. And,
Yeah,
and
he
how was
reminds me of
Garrett
Azo
Hedlund?
a
Like, I don't
little
care
bit.
about Rooney or Hugh, but I want to know how the kid
no,
was and how
I don't
Garrett
think
Hedlund
Let's
was.
talk about Garrett. Let's talk about Garrett Hedlund for a second.
This is what I've heard. Yeah.
He was like
Dude, this kid's not a good actor.
on some kind. I like Garrett Hedlund. He's
don't.
a nice kid. I actually thought I think he's okay in the right roles. I think he's good in the
like,
real.
like
in-
Tron.
I do like Tron, which is a bad movie that I really like.
Tron Legacy?
Yeah,
No?
I agree that it's a terrible movie.
What
But I really
wait,
think
what
it's
have you
terrible.
liked him in though? What's he good?
I liked him in I like him in the brooding roles. I like him when he's very dark and he's. I'm
Pacific Rim.
Dude, this guy was in.
No.
That sucked. No, that's Charlie Hunnam.
I'm trying to think. What's
I
the
know.
On the Road? Oh, On the Road.
They're the same person.
And
They
the,
are.
Dude, On the Road.
and the Coen Brothers movie, where he was in there for 10 seconds. But that's the kind of
Inside
role
Llewyn Davis. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
God, I barely remember him in that.
Yeah, he doesn't do much. In fact, I think he was up for the
I am-
Llewyn Davis role and wound up taking secondary
He was
roles
like, I
instead.
just want to work with these guys.
Yep.
Well, you're kind of talking
I
about.
am not a fan.
Across the board, I've been reading these reviews, and you're saying what pretty much all the reviewers are saying, which is it's not good. It's like these random. So you're saying the Garrett Hedlund his performance was weird. I've heard
It's
that.
very weird.
Yeah.
He's very goofy and over the top. I described it in my review as he plays the character like three toddlers standing on top of each other in a suit of clothes, and the one who's talking is from another planet. He's just like, I'm a
That paints the perfect picture for
Yeah,
me.
no, it's
Okay.
it's exactly what it is. It's a huge ripoff of Indiana Jones Han Solo. There's even the big moment, Han Solo's big moment in Star Wars is completely lifted and grafted onto Pan.
Oh man.
And it's almost like, yep, that's about what I expected to happen.
I'm
here.
like curious to see it, but I don't know that I'll rush out this weekend.
I am
maybe
so
a rental. Maybe
sick
a rental.
and tired of the Chosen One.
Yeah, we got it.
Uprising
Yes,
story.
I'm with
That's
you.
got to stop.
And-
Stop it. Stop making that story.
Why can't
It's
Pan
gotta
just
stop.
be somebody that just rises to prominence, right? He's
Pan
just,
has a whimsical story.
So I
It's a
should watch
Disney
Hook again. Okay,
Yeah, watch
got
Hook.
it.
yeah.
No. See Pan. It's great. It's worth watching.
Just for the experiment, you're saying.
How much
Yes.
time do we have left? How long have we been going?
It's
We don't have a
10
clock.
It's 10:07.
I'm in a room without windows. Should we go till 10:15 because we started late?
Can we go to 10:15, engineers? Popcorn talk. Yes, I am seeing a smiley face. Yes.
Oh,
all right.
holy shit, that was cool.
I
All right.
like that.
So
That
you
was
got
cool.
like 8 more minutes. Let me burn through the rest of what's going on
Yes,
this
please.
week. Let's see. Did you watch any trailers? We just watched the Hail Caesar trailer.
Yeah, which we split on it.
Yeah. I don't love that Hollywood is in love with itself and is making all these showbiz things. I mean, I'm down to see every Coen's movie, and the cast is cool, but yeah, I wasn't like on cloud nine watching that.
No, it gets me. I do like those stories, and I'm just, again, I said it. I am completely biased. I love the Coen brothers, everything they do, and yeah, they've had some misses, but this looks fun, so I'm down.
You didn't see it, right?
I haven't seen it.
Did
It
you
kinda
watch the
dropped today.
999 trailer?
I did not.
Did you?
Yes,
Dude.
that looks interesting.
Looks interesting. Looks fucking awesome.
Yeah,
is the
it's-
appropriate adjective.
It's so funny. I was like, I was gonna do a story on it. I was gonna write it up, and then something broke, and I can't remember what it was.
Dude, Red Band, Open Road, way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, coming in big statement.
Yeah.
Red Band trailers, fucking decapitated heads on cars. Like, it looked nuts.
Yeah.
Open Road is kind of on fire right now.
They really are. They're
gonna get the best picture this year.
I hope so.
What did they do again for?
Spotlight.
Oh, that's right.
You want me on
Spotlight.
my Spotlight team? Looking
You
into
talking
it.
about Spotlight?
I think that
talking
it's
about
between.
Spotlight.
I think it's between them and one other movie, but
What other movie?
The Revenant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can't wait. That trailer,
Can't wait
by
to
the
see it.
way.
Yeah.
That
That's
new
a great
trailer. I saw that in front of Sicario.
Yeah.
My God.
That looks amazing. But 999, man, with that cast, looks super cool. Watch the trailer, Josh.
All right.
Yeah. What else?
Homework assignment.
Let's see.
You didn't have this planned?
Okay. Did you watch the Moana video? Tell me you watched the Moana video.
little girl getting the
Yes.
part? Yeah, I did.
Josh, did you?
I didn't see the
Dude,
video.
watch that with your little girls.
Yeah.
It's
It's
amazing.
when she learns the
Yes.
moment she gets it?
Yes.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
It
I'd like
did.
to see that.
It did give
And
me
it
the
was
feels.
brilliant that
I
Disney
was
filmed all
like-
this shit,
Yeah.
too.
Brilliant. That is
When
brilliant.
she gets the part, I just went, oh, that's real.
Your heart fills with joy.
I'll
You
tell
can
you what,
feel it expanded.
We saw a lot of assets from that movie
Yeah.
at D23. And
Yeah.
it looks incredible.
Moana?
Yes. it
Oh,
looks
that was in the animated
incredible.
presentation. I didn't see it, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see
they
that
haven't,
either.
They
but
haven't
I've
released
heard-
any of that yet. It was just at D23.
Right, I've seen the
That
stills.
film looks amazing. It just visually, and it looks very spiritual.
Did you hear her talking in it?
No, I don't think she had been cast yet. At that
I don't
point.
think so
Okay,
either.
yeah.
I mean, it was just you see her, and you saw the Rock's character, and he talks, and you see her as a baby. There's a moment when she as a toddler is interacting with the ocean, and the ocean is like a living, breathing thing that sort of is like looking after her and taking care of her as she's sort of
I
wading
know
into the water.
I'm gonna love this movie.
Yeah.
I can already tell you.
It looks gorgeous.
You've got
It-
me excited.
It's I got goosebumps
But yeah,
just saying that.
watch that video with your
All right, I
daughters
can't
because
wait.
it's really something. Ellen Page, Justin Kroll dropped this one. Ellen Page to star in Flatliners.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
it.
I have no feelings on it,
Yeah.
really.
I like Ellen Page.
I love
I'm
Ellen
looking
Page.
forward to Freeheld, even though it hasn't gotten the best reviews.
Yeah, I saw finally the full trailer for that, and
Yeah.
it was in front of again Sicario, and I was like, "Wow, this
Right, Lionsgate.
looks really good." So the
Yeah, the
it's too
reviews
bad
haven't been
aren't.
great or whatever.
Flatliners
But
is a terrible movie that
It is.
has a great premise.
yeah, it's perfect to remake and
Yeah.
everything. They're going to get a cool ensemble. I do believe one of the things lending credence to the Gugu Star Wars stuff is that Gugu passed on Flatliners.
Okay, yeah, because she's got better things to do.
And I don't know if it was that Ellen Page role or not. And I've heard a couple of the other names, but I don't know that they're going to pan out. So it'll be interesting to see that cast assemble. But I
Sure.
like Ellen Page. Good start.
Me too.
Right?
Yeah. What else?
let's
Do we have
see.
any more news that we want to talk about?
I mean, I met. I wanted to, just talking about Ian McKellan.
Can we? Yeah. So, guys, you guys got to follow at the Sneider because he's doing some pretty cool stuff. And like this, Ian McKellan.
Last night I moderated like a SAG panel with Ian McKellan for Mr. Holmes, which I don't necessarily think is for this audience. But it was an incredible sort of thrill for me, and it was the easiest Q&A like ever because Ian McKellan's an amazing interview.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've all seen clips, whether it's on Hobbit and Lord of the Rings press tours or X-Men. So it was pretty cool to just be sitting like 2 inches away from Magneto and Gandalf.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about Beauty and the Beast, and he was like, Cogsworth, the clock that he plays, is the only one who doesn't get his own song. Like you'll hear him singing in the chorus. So he was like, I would go around set and I would make up a song for me to sing. And he was like, I'm Cogsworth and I'm a clock, tick tock. It was amazing. And I thank the Roadside Attractions for letting me do that.
That's great.
But yeah, quite an experience.
And where can they see that?
I don't think it's anything like that.
It was just kind of the people there.
Yeah. And I was telling Dickey, he's got to get on that moderating racket.
That's great.
I do moderating, but I always do it gratis, so I need to stop doing them. But hey, I'm really good on stage, and I'm available most Friday and Saturday nights.
But like Ian McKellan, he actually stood up. He wasn't in his chair the whole time during the Q&A. He was like walking around. Like he stayed afterwards for at least 20 minutes to take photos with almost everybody who stayed.
That's cool.
Because he's a big union guy, and this was SAG. These were his people.
Oh,
he was
that's great.
totally selfless and generous with his time. So it's always nice when you meet movie stars, because I'd heard he's an older gentleman.
Sure.
I'd heard he could get a little cranky or whatever, but he was an absolute sweetheart, and it's always nice when those kinds of people, your idols, turn out to be cool.
That's great. All right. Well, so we are at about 10:13. So
Okay.
we want to wrap it up, guys. Let's say our goodbyes. I know. I want to keep going. This has been a fun one, guys.
I know. I could talk all day. We got like 18 more things here.
I know. There are a lot of things out there.
We didn't talk about Power Rangers.
Yeah. Josh, do you want a Power Rangers movie?
No.
Me
I don't even
neither.
want a Power Rangers
Your kids
TV
aren't
show.
into it?
Again, my kids don't know what this stuff is. They're not. You have to totally reintroduce them.
I thought you'd be raising little geeks.
But see, I'm a geek, but Power Rangers missed me. I don't know. It just wasn't. It was perfect timing for my age to watch it. And what happened was it came on, and I'm like, this looks like it sucks, and I turned it.
Yeah, I didn't watch Power Rangers.
I'll leave you with a theory.
Yes.
That all this geek stuff that our age range is into right now will suffer a trough in popularity as our kids grow up, because that's the stuff that their parents like. Right?
Yeah, I agree. Who was I talking to about that? But that's a good point, because, sooner or later, our age is going
People
to...
our age are the ones making the movies.
They're gonna want their
exactly.
own stuff. They're gonna have their own stuff.
Is that when we're going to go back to actual original movies again? Maybe, possibly.
We'll see.
And not just based on a
Who
book,
knows what
comic
these
book,
weird
or...
little trolls and gremlins are gonna like?
Yeah.
They like YouTube videos. That's the weirdest thing in the world.
YouTube,
know,
the
right?
movie.
No, I know. I can't wait for them to remake Grumpy Cat. That's going to be fun.
Well, we'll say our goodbyes.
Let's say our goodbyes.
Josh, where can the good people find you?
Yes.
I have a new Twitter handle now.
You do?
I'm at JLD Light. That's JLD, my initials, LITE.
Doing anything cool over at Mashable you want to tease?
I just hired an awesome reporter to cover the digital entertainment space, and I'm still kind of looking for my just the right movies person.
Okay.
Hey.
We'll see.
Jeff is available sometimes.
You can't afford me, motherfucker.
I can't. That's the problem.
Nice.
He's way too expensive and too much of a headache, believe me. I know.
Yes. You don't... Dude, put a bottle of Advil in the drawer. All right. That's cool. You can find me at the InSneider. And on therap.com, we've got some cool interviews coming up. Very cool ones.
Yeah.
R.L. Stein, your favorite author as a kid. James Franco, your favorite actor as an adult.
Oh.
And Bridge of Spies producer Mark Platt. So
That's great. Have you seen it yet, by the way? Did you see Bridge of Spies yet?
yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, I'm
liked
seeing
a
it
lot.
Monday. I can't wait.
Not as good as Fargo though, which starts on Monday.
Well, there you go.
Guys, watch fucking Fargo.
Yeah.
You're dead to
I
me.
know. I gotta get on that. I hear it's great. And of course, guys, I am Mark Reilly at Reilly around on Twitter, all platforms, and you can see me every day on schmozono.com. And guys, thanks so much for joining us on this Friday for Meet the Movie Press. We are here every Friday at 9 a.m. live on Popcorn Talk Network at the YouTube. And please share with us, rate, comment, and subscribe. And go ahead and like this video if you can, please, because it keeps everything going, and we like the attention it gets us. So, guys, we will see you next week, and thanks for coming, Josh.
Go see Pan. Pan.
Phil Svitek and the entire From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.